News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Rape trial ends in a guilty plea for sexual assault. Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning for Tuesday, December 20th, 2016. A little light snow falling in Missoula right now. We have 28 degrees. Roads, a combination of bare and wet, intermittent snowpack on Highway 93 north and south, snow covered on Interstate 90 west from Frenchtown to Lookout Pass, and snowpacked on Highway 83 from Clearwater Junction up to Seeley Lake. Our newscast this morning, sponsored by Selby Armory on Stockyard Road. More guns and ammo than anyone at Missoula, Montana's premier firearms dealer. Our top story this morning, the trial of accused rapist Jordan Scott Barr in Missoula District Court ended yesterday afternoon with the defendant pleading guilty to felony sexual assault. Lead prosecutor Jennifer Clark with the Missoula County Attorney's Office said Barr's attorneys initially asked Judge Robert L. Dusty Deshaw to dismiss the case.
We finished our case in chief. The defense made a motion for a directed verdict. Basically, the argument there is that we didn't prove our case beyond a reasonable doubt for it to go to the jury. The judge denied that motion, and then the defendant came in and pled guilty to the felony sexual assault.
Clark said there are several legal steps that must be taken before Barr can be sentenced.
The possible sentence for that charge is for a minimum of 4 years and a maximum of 100 years at the Montana State Prison. There is not a date for sentencing set yet. We have a status in March. The defendant has to undergo a psychosexual evaluation, and a pre-sentence investigation report has to be completed.
Clark said she hopes the guilty verdict will provide some closure to the victim. A judge says attorneys for Montana's 2 death row inmates raised serious questions about whether a witness changed his testimony to help the State Department of Justice's argument that a particular drug meets state law for use in executions. District Judge Deanne Cooney ordered Attorney General Tim Fox and his deputies to preserve all communication they had with Auburn University Pharmacy School Dean Raul Lee Evans. She also ordered Fox to retain the results of any internal investigation his office conducted into the allegation that Evans was told to change his testimony. Roswell testified last year the drug pentobarbital meets the law's requirement that an, quote, ultra-fast-acting barbiturate be used in lethal injections. District Judge Jeffrey Sherlock ruled then that the drug did not meet that requirement and effectively blocked executions in the state. U.S. Marine Corps veteran Seth Jordan traveled from Belgrade, Montana, all the way to New York City to appear on the Fox and Friends program to promote the Dog Tag Brewing Foundation, created to support Gold Star families. On the program, Jordan, with Gold Star widow Megan Van de Giesen, spoke to the hosts about the idea of creating beer, in which each can honors a fallen hero from the Iraq and Afghanistan wars.
I wanted to make sure that these families that are, in my opinion, are largely neglected and left behind, and we wanted to make good on a promise that we will never forget. So we kind of came up with a concept that is to drive philanthropy. So every one of our beers is dedicated to a different fallen warrior.
Van de Giesen said the Dog Tag Foundation has greatly expanded the work she and her family have already been doing with their foundation.
What Seth's done and what Dog Tag now does with this foundation is just brought it to the next level, because now we're not just doing it within our community, but there's people nationwide opening a can and with my husband's name on it and toasting him, and that's just such an amazing movement.
Pabst Brewing Company supplies the beer as Dog Tag's national production and distribution partner.
Our beer is now found in over 24 states. Our plan is to be in all 50 states or close to 50 states by March of 2017. And again, grow this into a movement. We're a nonprofit. We're run by veterans. Collectively, our board of directors has served over 40 deployments in defense of our nation.
The Dog Tag Foundation is based in Bozeman and is a 501c3 organization. Missoula police responded to a 911 call about 12:52 yesterday morning, as we reported yesterday, when a citizen reported trespassing on the roof of Hellgate High School. When police got there, they found 2 men, one of which had to be taken to the hospital for injuries sustained in a fall. Missoula Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh has more.
It's unknown when exactly the injury occurred, but the police actually responded to a report of trespassing on the school when a citizen had observed 2 males climbing up on the roof. Fire department was called and did rescue both males from the roof. One that was on the lower roof was transported to local hospital.
The suspect taken to the hospital, 19-year-old Soren Schorenbachler. The other suspect earned multiple misdemeanor charges when police were able to make contact with him.
Both of the men were charged with criminal trespass to property and minors in possession of alcohol. Drew Brennan, who was 20 years of age, was also arrested for misdemeanor possession of drugs and paraphernalia. As the officer climbed the ladder from one of the fire trucks to the top of the roof where Mr. Brennan was located, he found him urinating on the rooftop, and so a charge of urinating in public was also imposed.
It's unclear why the men were on the roof of Hellgate High School. Welsh says it doesn't appear they tried to actually break into the building. A state senator from Great Falls is telling Republican leaders that he wants to run for Montana's U.S. House seat when Ryan Zinke becomes President-elect Donald Trump's Interior Secretary. Senator Ed Buttrey released a statement yesterday. He plans to seek the Republican Party's nomination in a special election. Montana's unemployment rate dropped to 4% in November. The state's jobless rate had held at 4.3% for 3 straight months prior to Friday's announcement. State Labor Department officials say payroll employment increased by 2,000 jobs last month, with gains in construction and leisure activities industries. Total employment estimates reflect a loss of about 400 self-employed or agricultural jobs for a net monthly gain of 1,600 jobs. Labor Commissioner Pam Busey says the state must ensure that expanding business have highly trained people to fill the jobs being created. The homeless in Missoula come and go, and the vast majority of residents barely take notice of them, but they do live and die, often unnoticed and uncared for. Tomorrow, that's going to change with the first ever Missoula Homeless Persons Memorial Ceremony at the Courthouse Gazebo from 5:30 until 6:30 p.m. Missoula United Way Program Support Coordinator Susan Harris has details. Make that Laura Harris has details.
It's Missoula's first Homeless Persons Memorial, and it is to honor the lives and dreams of homeless men and women that have passed here in the Missoula area. And this time we're going back to 2008 because it is our first one. But next year it will be for persons that passed during the year.
Harris outlines the program to be held at the gazebo on the courthouse lawn.
There will be a presentation of the local proclamation by Mayor John Engen, and we will have a eulogy, a reading of the approximately 30, that's not an exact number, names, and some music and a prayer. It's going to be short and poignant, I would say.
Harris said they'll also be collecting items for the homeless at the memorial, like toiletries and hygiene items for the Homeless Connect project on January 27th. Our News Talk time now, 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
A wintry mix of rain and snow expected today with our high temperatures in the upper 30s. Snow accumulations should stay under an inch. Tonight, we could see a dusting to as much as an inch of snowfall with our lows in the mid-20s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster, KECI 13.